And one last thing I really want to mention, I'm recording this after this episode has already been recorded, but I'm going to put it as the first thing that you hear. I remember growing up, since I obviously was born into Islam, right? I was always cursed by demons to always say like, "Oh, I love all my prophets." Obviously, I'm very connected to them. I love them very much because I'm supernatural. I'm similar to them. Right? I just didn't know that back then. In that sense, I just knew I was different than humans, right? But I didn't call myself supernatural. Okay. But I would always say to God, right? "Oh, I love that prophet." I would always say I love Prophet Yahya, because I felt angry at the way they act, like they cut his neck off. So I would always say to God, "I love all your prophets, right? Okay, but I love them. And I would always tell God, I don't feel connected to Prophet Muhammad. I would always say that. It really breaks my heart right now. That's demonic. Get it? They attacked me because he's actually the prophet. Since we're all individuals, right? He's actually the one that God created, he and I, to be very similar in our personal qualities. Morality, I'm similar to all prophets, right? We all have that righteous character. Okay, supernatural, okay, we're all supernatural. I'm doing similar what they do. I just don't get to tell you who I am. But, okay, the sort of personal part, right? We're all individuals. That's the part, if you had to put me somewhere who I'm close to in that sort of personal part of my life, like what I'm good at, my artistic abilities, sort of who knows, maybe my personality, like that. I'm actually, right, literally, like maybe 80 or 90% similar to Prophet Muhammad. And for me to say that growing up, that, oh, I don't feel connected to him, but I feel connected to the others more. Now I see that, right? That's just how the psychology of evil is, and it's demonic persecution that I tell you God puts us into. It's not directed at us. It's just God's way of teaching us things, such as almost everything I expose in this podcast. Okay, so then that evil psychology, right, of saying something like that was put into the persecution, where demons are made to attack me, where I don't feel connected to the person I should have felt connected to. Okay, like that. But I'm actually very close to him. He's very similar to me, such as this episode, what you're going to hear, which is, I believe he was gifted at cooking and he loved cooking. And obviously, I also tell you, he's obviously a writer. He's not illiterate, and that he's also gifted at writing. Not just someone who can write, but gifted at writing and gifted at poetry, including even fashion and beauty. Like I think those were his artistic abilities. Why? Because that's my artistic abilities, and because he's a man, and the devil corrupted religion, right? Quran, Bible, to always put perversion, sexism first, rather than other evil, right? And then other evil enters. Okay, he can't tell you a man loved cooking because they turn cooking into a sexist thing for women only when it's just an art. As I explained in this episode, it would go against the devil's agenda of, right, corrupting religion. Again, with God's permission, he's not some cool, big, scary thing. It's just a test for human race. Are you going to be moral even if evil tells you I'm from God like that? What was your character? God is testing character. Right, everybody? So it's just one of those things that was one of the lies about God, religion, scripture, and prophets, right? And future prophets also, which is, right, demons, in order to get away with accusing them of immorality, they also have to lie about the things that have nothing to do with morality, but it's about your identity and it's about your greatness, like your artistic abilities plus intellectual. So that's really the three categories I would say prophets are accused. Even God, it's just his is different, right? What greatness he has. And religion and scripture. One, identity of the living being. And in this case, identity of the scripture, right? Two, exactly the morality part of them, what their character is. And then three, or what they say is morality. Okay, and then three, the greatness in terms of, right, intellectual plus art plus other things we could say falls into greatness. Just attributes or qualities you have. Those are the three specific terminologies we can say symbolize the three sort of main categories of accusation. Oh, I'm sorry, the three main categories that we could put all accusations about God, prophets, and scripture, including at some point just righteous people in history. The identity is corrupted, the morality of or their character, right, righteousness is corrupted, and then the sort of greatness they have, the sort of attributes, right, for God, and then for the creation of God, their greatness, right? We don't want to use attribute, right? What they're great at, you know what I mean? Art, beauty, like that. That's then the third category that's corrupted. So I explained it in this episode, but I just at least wanted to give you that nice generic um, shortcut, so you at least don't know what's the vibe. It became 2 hours long when it wasn't supposed to be. So I believe Prophet Muhammad, right, that hadith telling you he loved to cook with his wife, that the wife nonsense is obviously the corruption and the nonsense, right? He just had one wife, obviously. The other stuff is perversion. So obviously prostitution and perversion and rape and filth, whatever the hell they're talking about. Okay, so whoever he married, right? It means they used to obviously cook together because humans do that. They're normal, duh. But the devil corrupted it to make it seem as if it was his home. I think that was his art. I think he did that as a business. Okay, I think he did that as his right. Yes, you cook for yourself, duh. But see, if you make it about cooking for yourself in your home with your spouse, goodness, that doesn't connect to then you being good at it or you loving it as a professional thing, correct? Okay, because we all have to take care of our health and eat and cook for ourselves. So okay, take out the home part. Just he loved cooking. Okay, but what if someone loves cooking but they're not good at it? No, no, no. He's good at it, okay? Like an art, like someone could be a poet. Like that, everybody. He was a cook, like that. And he was a poet and he was a writer, you know? I already explained he had supernatural abilities like other prophets, but that was corrupted. Such as the army of Abraha. I believe a prophet caused that to happen, okay? God gave him an ability to cause that to happen, to control animals and pests to attack you and other creations, living and non-living. Just like Moses had the ability to, right, command an ocean to split. It's still God's ability, right? God created that, but he gives it to you, right, as a supernatural being. And there you go. Mahdi is very similar to Prophet Muhammad. They also will um, have abilities that you would say symbolize what other prophets had, right? The Shia Muslims believe Mahdi controls wind and rain. The Sunni Muslims believe they're going to have an army sink to the ground. I think that's the ability of Mahdi. I don't think that's just God punishing you. But some of it could be, right, God punishing you. But just like Moses was given the ability to command the ocean and it splits, again, still God, right? Power, still God's power. But you get me? Like that ability where you're the one who's, okay, I think then that's their abilities. But these two last prophets, they're exactly, these three categories of them has been corrupted just like other prophets. I don't want you to think they didn't go through the same thing. It's just we're living in their lifetime. So we get to see the accusations against them. So it seems like maybe they were accused too much. No, the other prophets went through the same thing. It's just that then people came after them, right? Prophets came after them who exposed the truth about them, and now they have their sort of greatness in your eyes. Now you say to yourself, yeah, we know so and so, like that. You get me? So it's only when it's your time that you're accused, your identity, your greatness, and your morality is corrupted like other prophets, uh, and no one's gonna expose it. No one's gonna find out because another prophet has to come and expose it. So Mahdi has to expose who they are, their own greatness, right, in all those three areas, those three categories, and they have to expose Prophet Muhammad, his greatness in all those three categories, including some about Jesus, what they know. Like that. It doesn't mean the other prophets weren't accused this much. They were accused heavily. Just a fake character was created out of him. That's basically diminished to nothing. Okay. But it's just because we're in their lifetime we get to see that fakeness, that corruption, that fake story. Other prophets went through the same thing. If you go back in their lifetime after they were no longer here and you come and get born in their lifetime after that, right? Then you would also see fake characters made out of them, and those fake characters are useless. They're diminished to nothing. Okay? Um, it's just you're seeing that in your lifetime, and God is gonna tell you the truth about them, and people are gonna finally truly honor them the way they should. And the other artistic abilities, such as right, the poetry, the fashion, the writing, could have been that God made him artistic with it, right? Like gifted, because that was what was lacking in his time. Okay, the corruption obviously is going to go against that. You're not going to understand what I mean, because obviously Muslims don't have art and beauty. They have sexism put into their religion that takes away fashion and beauty and makeup, right? You see, we're talking about how things were, not how things are today due to corruption. So that's what he brought down by those great things for women and men. And the corruption, right, in religion, then is flipping it and taking that away from women and men overall as Muslims. Okay, and in the world, obviously, because this is God's religion. Um, that's another quality of a prophet. They're basically your example in almost everything, you know? The sort of greatness qualities like art, beauty, fashion. They're going to be champions of that. They're going to inspire that. But then two, morality, righteousness. Okay, but then three, the idea that the suffering God, right, chooses to put them into is God's way of teaching you how to deal with it also. Such as the fact that our prophet was adopted. He was orphaned. So I believe the cooking aspect wasn't just right. Like I said, the cooking aspect, right, would not just be an artistic ability, right, that I'm telling you he's gifted at, because I'm gifted at it, and I'm being guided by God to see that he's similar to me in these qualities, not just other stuff I tell you about, like character and the fact that I'm supernatural and I just don't tell you who I am. Okay, but I believe he wasn't just good at cooking, like gifted. I believe he also made wealth out of it or business out of it, or you know what I mean, did something with it, because look at my words, because he was adopted by maybe another race and he didn't get to enjoy eating his own people their food. So maybe God, right, made him good at cooking in a way that then he went out and learned to cook his own people more in detail, and then maybe he made a business out of that, because it was like a compensation or a healing for the fact that he was put through suffering where he's adopted by another race versus your own race. So yeah, we all know he's adopted, but maybe he was adopted by another race. Why am I saying that? Because demons want to manifest, because right, am Asian, specifically Arab, but I was adopted by Africans. And the cooking is not just artistic for me anymore. Now it's a desire to go learn my heritage, their food more in detail, and also maybe turn that into a business. So I believe that's a healing God is giving me, because that's the businesses I always told you guys I wanted to start, but due to the demonic persecution, I didn't get a chance, because they attack my money or finances first. Then your character. They accuse you of being criminal, mentally ill, and all these things that prophets were accused of. And they always prevent me from publishing my books, which is poetry and just normal writing, like fiction and nonfiction. See? Because literacy, but not right, not just being, knowing how to write. No, I'm gifted at writing. I'm gifted at poetry. And the prophet is accused of being illiterate. Okay? So it's God's way of using me, my own artistic abilities, my own greatness, right? What makes me great personally, but then my morality, the fact that I'm righteous and I don't believe in the evil in Islam and all religion, even though I'm born into Islam, right? But my identity, the fact that I'm Arab. Humans are manifesting again. The fact that I'm Arab, but I was accused of being African all my life by this African family that adopted me, the demons are possessing to also stalk me, aka that sort of persecution. They're crazy. So my identity is also something that I had to discover later on in detail. I never thought I was African. I'm not obviously crazy. Why would I think I'm another race? Okay, but I didn't know how to identify myself all these years. So God is the one who told me who I am using supernatural events. And so I believe, therefore, since I'm already so similar to my prophet in the way the persecution attacks me in those areas of identity, my greatness, my morality, And again, all prophets are attacked in all those areas, right? And I'm living the same life they have, but specifically in detail, right? Every detail is different for every prophet, right? How they attack them in detail, since I'm realizing I'm so similar to Prophet Muhammad, right? The orphan part, that means I'm an orphan. That means I was born in Arabia, but I was taken out of it by God somehow. Okay, so then that is then making me connect why maybe he went into cooking instead of just being good at it but never doing anything with it. I just ignore it. Maybe he did something with it. Maybe he became a chef because that was his way to heal himself, but he never got to grow up with his own people, his own Arabic people, right? His own Arab people, because maybe another race adopted him. Like me, I was adopted by another race. So if I was to make a restaurant, I'm gonna obviously try to now study more in detail my Arab ethnicity, what they really cook, but I'm gonna come up with my own style. And I want you to know, when I was young growing up, when I would cook food, I naturally would cook Arabic style foods and Asian overall. I just naturally like their cooking and I would always make theirs. So it doesn't even matter, if God allows a demon to attack you and they take you from your race. God created us as a creation, right? Whether you're supernatural like me or a regular human, it doesn't matter. As long as you're a creation of God, you're created to always know your nature and your identity. You're also created to know right from wrong. So I just naturally was pulled to cook food that's Arabic and Asian overall. I cook just like them. I have never learned it from them. And I never went online and learned it from them either. I just learned it. But then the ones like, let's say, Chinese, right? The sort of orange chicken they make, and that sort of other Asians that I'm not, okay, I had to see those ones. But the one that's Arabic, I just knew how to make that food. And I've never seen it with my own eyes. So that was my own identity just coming out of me as this, right? Demonic families trying to force another race on me as a way to attack you in your identity because they're not human, they're demons. And that doesn't mean that I lost myself. I still was making food that's Arabic. And then, yeah, many things would happen when I would make such food. Those humans would be very uncomfortable. Their demons would be very scared. They would just get away from me that moment because that's their guilt. They accusing me of someone else. So that's how I'm connecting that my prophet was probably adopted by another race, and the cooking then symbolized a healing for him, like for me, it is for me right now. A huge trauma for me, you know. And demons always in the persecution, they always live their life trying to force Africans on me. Literally, they just try to force them on me. Because that's another way they're exposing themselves that they, right, were just in the persecution made by God to just take me from my race. So that's what I talk about in this episode. That's how I concluded all this. God is guiding me to, hey, it's like a puzzle. He just lets me see the puzzle, you know? I see how I was attacked. And I'm seeing, duh, right? Similar to all prophets, but more specifically, the area of this prophet is similar to me. God is the one who just opens my eyes spiritually or my mind spiritually. I don't come up with it. Okay, how can you come up with this stuff? Okay. So the episode is 2 hours long. It's just me explaining things, but this is at least how you know what's in it. So you know what I mean? You at least get what you need to hear. The episode is the explanation and the details. And just using that to even heal myself. It's also a healing for me. I created this podcast. God is the one who came up with the word healing guides. There you go. I was just guided to it. I took a paper, took a pen. What should I title it? Just the word healing and then the word guides came up. Okay? I didn't come up with it. And why? He inspired me to just think of healing as a way to heal people who've been traumatized. First through abusive adoptive families or families overall, because I had to deal with that. Trauma from being harassed at workplaces, the streets, cops, everywhere I go, the persecution attacks you everywhere, right? Like that. So then, okay, I want to heal you then. I'm just thinking I'm just some random person who seems to be followed by demons, the same level of a prophet, even though God didn't tell me who I am. I didn't understand. I didn't sit there questioning why demons follow me if I'm not being told by God I'm a prophet, right? I didn't care about that. That's not rational. You know, God doesn't let me torture myself with things like that. He just lets me mind my business and just move on and just be fine. Okay, so yeah, I just simply just lived that way, even though my situation is not normal, right? And when I say demon, I just mean people are possessed 24/7 to stalk me and bother me. Okay, they're the demon, therefore. And at some point, they started to use animals and pests. And at some point, they started to use inanimate objects or non-living things. So it's not directed at me. It's just how we learn the power they have over all these things and living beings. And right now, they're harassing me. They're walking around me and stuff. You know, I like to get in my personal space, put fear into my heart that they might touch me or something. You know, it's creepy as hell. But all they want is for me to not record what I'm saying. Okay, what else? It's alright, and then the guide, the sort of guide part. I think that one I don't really remember that much. But that one was partly due to the fact that when I was first making the podcast, God was inspiring me to expose the Quran. The Quran is corrupted, you know, and I'm the first Muslim to tell you that, obviously, in this sort of time, you know. And then I'm saying that because who knows, righteous scholars might have said that in the past, but right, you don't get to see that. I don't want to say something only God knows, right? But just in this sort of time, I'm the first Muslim to admit and uh, expose that the Quran is corrupted. Because everyone already says the Bible is corrupted. We get that. And also, just another person confirms for you, yes, the Bible is also corrupted for Christians who don't want to admit it. So for that reason, okay, that's how it started. God just guided me that my prophet was accused of perversion because demons started to accuse me of things, you know, possessing people who've never seen me their whole life. They just come into my environment, they're stalking me, they just want to accuse me. They have no other job. What the hell? That's not rational. Why would you just want to accuse someone you've never seen your whole life? No problem, right? We know evil humans exist, yeah, but everywhere I go, okay, that's weird. That's spiritual. Everywhere I go is a bit too much, including that adoptive African family. All they wanted to do was accuse me also. It's just weird. They stole everything from me, and they're the ones who are the transgressors in religion. They're going to go to hell because they will do witchcraft and very demonic things. Anyways, and yeah, they're still stalking me. They're still following me in this country. But God has told me to just not worry about them. He'll deal with them himself. Right, everybody? So that's how I got guided first. It was like, yes, I'm being harassed everywhere I go, but I just thought some character followed me or I'm a character. Okay, I knew it wasn't human, obviously. One, because I'm supernatural. I'm stronger than humans and demons. So of course, I'm not going to think you were bothering me. I just know something else is going on. I was connected to the logical conclusion. But back then, I didn't used to call myself supernatural. I just used to say I'm a third creation, which meant I'm not created like males and I'm not created like females. So I'm not a human female. Don't come here and thinking I'm like these females in this world. No, I'm supernatural. Okay, so that's why then I would say, my Lord, I'm not a human female and I'm not a human male. I'm a third creation. That's how I would identify myself. And I would always tell him, my Lord, I'm not African. You know, it's like I know who I am, but I'm not allowed to then give the correct description of it. I'm not gonna say I'm Arab. I'm not gonna say what I really am, which God has definitely told me, but I don't get to be specific. And obviously, with each episode I record, you are gonna obviously be like, I think you're already telling us who you are. You might guys think that way. Sorry, I'm being attacked by demons right now. My words are getting mixed. It just means witchcraft is being put on me. You can't be like you don't believe in witchcraft. People walk by me very close to me, and okay, I'm being attacked with my words all of a sudden. You see, it's just easy to prove the human is not innocent. Because when they come near me is when I get attacked mentally with what I'm trying to tell you. It's like my words are getting mixed. Okay, so before anyone was here, you'll remember that at the beginning of the episode, everything was fine. That's how they accuse Moses of stuttering. They just make your words speed up because your heart is speeding up. So if I relax my heart, I'll be fine. You know, I told you it's like this fear they put on your body. It's like a heart beating like that. That ruins speech, obviously. Okay, right, everybody. Um, so everywhere I go, I'm being accused, I'm being harassed, I'm being pushed out of jobs. My grades are being accused of being low when they're high. My whole life I just suffered. Okay, I'm being targeted by this adoptive family, and they're pretending to be my family and race. I don't understand why I'm in their family. I always knew I just don't belong. I don't understand why I'm there. No one just tells me I'm adopted. Okay, but see, you might have said to me, well, why didn't you conclude you're Asian? Why didn't you personally, because your body looks Asian, just tell yourself? Because that's the part that God didn't want me to say it. I'm not obviously any different than a human, right? Obviously, I'm not African. Why would I then live my whole life not saying it to people who are third parties like governments? Why didn't I tell the government, oh, can you put on my ID Arab? See, it's because I know it doesn't make sense. But God didn't allow me to say that all these years. So every day, Somali people would always approach me and be like, are you? They don't understand because right, my ID or something says that, right, black or African in the United States. I'm in their mosque, I don't go to the Arabic mosques, right? And they would always look at me and they don't understand why I'm in their people. So that's God's way of always reminding me, right, what the truth is. The Africans were looking at me and thinking, why are you here? Why are you sitting here? You're not, right? Um, and the Arabs, when they would see me, because they're Muslim, right, they mix with us usually at mosques, they would just stare a long time. It was like a familiar feeling. It's like they're familiar with me, but they don't say anything. It's like that. Why did God do that? Maybe to hide me, right? Maybe to just hide my identity for time, right? And now He's the one who's telling me, using supernatural events, my actual race. See? No, that doesn't make sense, right? I should have concluded that myself. He doesn't let me. He doesn't let me say that out of my mouth because that's just His wisdom. That's just His goal, to hide me. Even though the humans don't, would normally conflict and be like, no, you're not. They're not allowed. So, okay, fine, I'm not allowed, but wouldn't humans at least look at me and say, but you're Asian? Let's figure it out. Right? They didn't do anything because they're also not allowed. Everyone is blind. I can walk this earth, you're all going to see me, and you have no opinion. But if you're being possessed because you're a horrible person, that's who demons use. If you're just a bad person, it's like they have permission to use you to bother prophets and someone like me. You don't get to choose. Right? Who would choose to bother a prophet, right? If you don't know who they are. It's just, you're just a bad person. You will be possessed. So many Muslim sheikhs, right? Or preachers. Yeah, you've been possessed to bother me when I would visit mosques and when I called you on the phone asking for help because maybe I was homeless or you don't know I was calling you for help. Because why would He let you know who I am? You're gonna do good around me. He wants to show me you're evil humans. You're spreading filth about prophets and God and religion. You don't want to admit these books are corrupted to have perversion, sexism, and all other evil in it. Right? You're the bad ones. You're the hypocrites. You're all going to go to hell, just so you know. Yeah, you can repent, but you're still going to go to hell. Only good Muslims will never like this evil in their religion, but they don't know what to do. That's the people who are going to follow future prophets, just so you know. But these ones are going to be killed off because you're transgressors. A lot of you have cheated on your wives. You've done that four-wife nonsense, which is just prostitution and rape and filth and nonsense and other weird nonsense. Okay? So, for this reason, if everyone is blind and the bad humans are possessed in a way where their demon is told, don't ever say anything, don't ever project anything to her, just, that's it. You're just allowed to persecute this person for some time, like other prophets, were possessed. Like prophets, you were used to follow them so they learn things and suffer to some degree. That's it. So the demons have to shut up. The humans are blind, and they're blind too as demons to some degree because they would be scared of me to do the bad stuff around me. So God also blinds demons in order for them to do the bad stuff around me, They can't feel my power either to some degree. They have to be blinded of it. So that's the only way that people didn't look at me and say, you're Asian, you're Arab, you get me? They're not allowed. Okay? So then when I go into the world, if I see good people, they mind their business, If I see bad people, no matter their religion, a demon takes over their body and they act bad around me. And that's how I learn them who's good and bad. You know, you manifest. Your true self comes out of you. You feel unhappy. You become evil all of a sudden. But see, people think you're a sweet person. That's another reason God hides me and hides prophets. So we study what the hell's wrong with you. I'm not telling you I'm a prophet, and please don't connect me to that. I actually believe I'm someone else. I'm just telling you, just as long as you're supernatural, this is your experience. You're gonna live the same life of prophets, and then that's it. It's up to God to tell you who I am. If someone has maybe guessed it, that's not possible. You're all blind right now, but the day will come where God will just tell you. You get me? Just as people know I'm not African, but they never said that to my face because He won't let them as a God. Because He wants to tell me that later in life, and He's always showing me I'm similar to prophets. It's the same for humans when it comes to other qualities or characteristics about me. You're not allowed to get the point either. You're gonna just be blind. You're just gonna listen to every episode, and one day God is gonna say it's time, and everyone who clicks on it will be like, "Oh my God!" You know, you're just gonna connect the dots. But right now, whoever's following my podcast are demons, in the sense that they're the most extremely psycho, human, sick weirdos. They have no consciousness. They're like a dead person. They just come to my podcast, just listen to it. You know, they're like a stalker, get it? That follows me around in the city. They don't know anybody, and they don't know you, and they're not stalking you directly. They're just bad people. They stalk people every day. I'm just made to see that that's how they are. By me also having to see it. You know, they don't know me. I don't want you to think humans know you or know your prophets when they're being persecuted. No. It's a program God puts them into to just teach them things. So even right now, I'm recording this in public places. I've done this many times over the past 2 years. Whoever can hear me has no consciousness. They can't say anything. They can't be like, what did I just hear? They can't, okay? So they really are blind, you have to agree. And it's a blinding only God can do, and not you and I. We can't confuse them. So when God says the time, yeah. So that's what this episode is about. Hey, everybody, here's another hint. I told you, right? This family that adopted me, and they're from another race. You know, they're African. I tell you, they're stalking me, right? They're criminals. They don't know who I am. They're just narcissistic people, okay? I just get to see who you are. You know how our Prophet Muhammad, they tell you his uncle was evil, and he was among the ones who were destroyed because, right, he's obviously evil. I don't think that's his real uncle. I think that's the family that adopted him. The demons corrupted. They accused them of being Arab, maybe. Maybe they were African or some other race or European. Um, you know what I mean? I don't think the adopted people were his race or ethnicity specifically. So whether they were his right race, Asian, right, and specifically the category of Asians of Arabs, or whether they were a completely different race, doesn't matter. Either way, he was adopted, correct? So that adopted family, that's not his family. When they tell you then his uncle, are they talking about his real uncle? No, right? Adoptive uncle. And I'm telling you right now, this evil family won't stop stalking me. Their demons won't stop using them to follow me around this country. And they're actually part of the reason why I had to some degree, not always, but to some degree, move from state to state because they keep finding my location. So I know God is going to kill them. But maybe he's going to kill them in a supernatural way. Exactly. That adoptive uncle um, was killed also in Prophet Muhammad's time. So maybe that's why God won't kill this family, even though they should be killed. Maybe God is waiting to do something big in the future where a lot of transgressors will be killed, mainly the ones who were used to persecute me. Who, again, they don't know me, it's not directed at me, but they were still used. And maybe that family will be among them that's adoptive. See? And maybe that's why, because I told you I'm so similar to my prophet, and it's becoming scary. Every detail about me is similar to him. Okay, here's the episode.